I thought I will tell the story of Angulimala. I always want to say Angulimaga, but it's Angulimala. So I might make that mistake over and over again. So it's a name. And it's a really good simile of what I've just said, that once you discover the Dharma, the Buddha's teachings, then there is something else opening up. There is an other way of doing things, and it's possible to completely change. And what's beautiful is that the Dharma never excludes anyone. And there is no lost cases. No lost cases. You can start even at 70 years old, right? It reminds me just right now, so maybe I will tell the story. It's not about the Dharma, but it's about martial art. And I was having a workshop with a master, and there was a very old man next to him. So master was something like 40 years old, and the other man next to him was something like 80 years old. I didn't know them, so I thought the master was the very older man. This was the first confusion, you know. And so no, I realized that the master was the young man, and he explained practice, and we started to practice. And then he asked his assistant. The assistant was almost blind, 80 years old, to help us with the practice. And so when you start to touch hands with that old man, you do not dare, because you say, yeah, I don't want to push too much. But then he was so strong, so strong, almost no side, but yeah, very, very strong, very thin, almost, only seeing bones, but very, very strong. And after a while that we recognized that, yes, he was a very good student, very good assistant, then the young master explained that this old man actually started to undertake the training only 3 years 3 years ago, 3 years before that. So something maybe started at 79 years old. And it made me realize the power of the practice, right? He said this old man was very, very sick when he started. And then he was immovable. You could not move it or push him away. So this is why, you have to have the intention to say, yeah, I start the practice. And then if you do it with all your heart, yes, fruits. And for the Dharma, it's the same. So Angulimala, there is a sutta called the Angulimala Sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya. It's number 86. And Angulimala was actually a bandit in the realm of King Pasenadi. This bandit, so he was called Angulimala. He was a murderous, bloody-handed, given to blows and violence, merciless to living beings. Villages, towns, and districts were laid waste by him. He was constantly murdering people, and he wore their fingers as a garland. Right? You can see the picture, right? Necklace with fingers of people he killed. All right. And it is said that he killed something like more than 900 people. And somehow the Blessed One, the teacher, the Buddha, was around. And he was just doing his things, the Buddha. It was time for alms rounds, and decided to go, And shepherds would see the Blessed Ones, and cowards and plugmans and travelers, and they say, so the blessed ones, and say, don't go there, don't take that road. There is Angulimala, who is a murderer. He had killed many men, sometimes 40 men comes to him, and still he can he can kill everybody. Don't go there. But the Buddha didn't turn around and change his way. He went anyway, in silence. And Bandit Angulimala, he saw the Blessed One coming in distance. And when he saw him, he thought. So the kind of thought that a murderer can have. It's wonderful, it's marvelous. Men have come along this road in groups of 10, 20, 30, and 40, but still they have fallen into my hands. But now this recluse come along, unaccompanied, and as if he was forcing his way. Why shouldn't I take this recluse life? So he had the intention to kill the Buddha. So he then took his sword and shield, buckled on his bow and quiver, and followed close behind the Blessed One. So he had the intention to kill the Buddha. He had killed so many men, 30 men, that's nothing for him. One man without any protection, good. I'm just rephrasing, but it feels like he would think he thought something like this. But the Buddha wasn't scared. I'm pretty much sure that he knew who he had to deal with. And so Angulimala was behind the Buddha, and the Buddha somehow used it's written in the Sutta, he used a feat of supernormal power, so that even if Angulimala tried to get closer to him, the Buddha went without even running, but was able to keep distance. Enough, actually, to not be hit or... Angulimala would try to run faster, but somehow the Buddha would keep walking, but somehow, like as if gliding on the earth and keeping that distance. And at some point, Angulimala said, "What's going on?" And he stopped and called out the Blessed One, "Stop, recluse! Stop, recluse!" And the Buddha just replies, "I have stopped, Angulimala. You stop too." this very short sentence carries so much meaning. And Angulimala just thought, he doesn't understand what the Buddha is saying. I have stopped. Why are you saying this? And so he thought, suppose I question this recluse. So, and he talks to the Blessed One, and he said, while you are walking, recluse, you tell me you have stopped. But now, when I have stopped, you say I have not stopped. I ask you now, a recluse, about the meaning. How is it that you have stopped and I haven't? All right. And the Buddha replies, Angulimala, I have stopped forever. I abstain from violence towards living beings. But you have no restraint towards things that live. That is why I have stopped and you have not. And there is this shift where Angulimala decides to become a disciple of the Buddha. And he says, I will indeed renounce evil forever. This is not the end of the story, but here I would like to make a pause just to say that at some point when you encounter the Dharma for the first time, you might even not understanding what it is exactly, but maybe saying that, okay, there is another way to do things. There is another way to live. There is another way to behave, and I decide to trust a little bit. And my interpretation, personal interpretation, is that Angulimala, having been murderous for so many years, maybe he was also fed up with that, and just had to meet someone exceptional, to change his way of living. Because killing, really removing life of other men, how alone and anxious, and how horrible it could be to feel that way, just killing every day many men. So it was time maybe for him to say, okay, I have enough. And and then the Buddha say, okay, come with me, you will be my assistant. No fear at all. And all right. So they walk together from one place to another, and then they re-enter the realm of King Pasenadi. And at some point, the villagers informed the king, Angulimala is back in your realm, please do something. And so the king say, okay, let's bring an army with me. So 500 horses and the chariots, and they all go there to where they think Angulimala is. And then they try to find him, to arrest him, so that this murderer, serial killer, stopped killing people. And actually, they arrive in the forest. They cannot go with the chariot, so they dismount, and the king walk towards the Buddha and say, yeah, we are looking for it. So the Buddha asks, what are you doing, king? Is there any war or any quarrel, or are you going to defend your realm? And so the king explains why he is there. It's about to catch Angulimala so that he stop killing people. And the Buddha say, all right, so if I tell you that Angulimala is now a bhikkhu, what would you do? The king is a bit surprised and say, okay, so maybe I will reply politely to the blessed one. Well, as with any bhikkhu, then I would give some food and offer robes and anything that is worthy of another one. And now that the Buddha knows that the king would behave like this, he say, all right, so Angulimala is there, and he shows the bhikkhu, his assistant, which is at enrich. Surprise, surprise, you know. Anyone can change. Anyone can change from an evil serial killer to a respectable bhikkhu. Right? And this is what the king does. He offers food, he offers robes, and so on. And somehow the king Pasenadi then talked to the Blessed One, to the Buddha, and say that the Buddha brings peace to the unpeaceful. And this is a very, very inspiring story, I found. This is not really the end, then there is a more even heartbreaking moment. This is when, so the Angulimala did the practice, developed himself, cultivated hard qualities and so on. And he went through a village and he saw a woman who was in labor on the road. So she was delivering a baby. And when he saw that, he thought, how beings are afflicted. Indeed, how beings are afflicted. And it was not his own act of killing others who really affected Angulimala. It was giving birth, the fact of getting maybe a new body, and how just the act of being born brings suffering to another being. And okay, so he went back to the Buddha and described what he saw and how he felt. So the Buddha say, now Angulimala, go back to that woman and tell her the following. Sister, tell him. So the Buddha said to Angulimala, tell him the following sentence. Tell him, sister, since I was born with the noble birth, I do not recall that I have ever intentionally deprived a living being of life. By this truth, may you be well and may your infant be well. So he allows Angulimala to go to another suffering being, to bless her, and to tell her that since he has come into the Dharma, he is blameless. Like a new start, you know. Like a new start. Because you've started now to stop doing evil, then you can bless others. You have the right to have a very difficult, horrible, and people can judge you for your past, no problem. But then say intention to stop doing harm, to start over again. You have that right. Yes, you have that right. And you have the right also to forget what you've done. And so that also others allow you to live according to your intention, to new intention of harmlessness. At least you can try, right? And all right, he kept doing the practice, developing the Noble Eightfold Path. And Angulimala became an arhat, so a fully enlightened being, meaning that your past actions, they do not determine if you can purify your mind, right? You can be a serial killer, kill 900 people trying to kill the Buddha, but at the moment you decide, you resolve to change and to develop the path, then that's okay. And then arhatship, fully enlightened, pure heart. This is unbelievable, but for me, when I read that story of Angulimala at the very beginning of my spiritual journey, it gave me hope. If Angulimala can do it, I can do it. I haven't killed, I was not a serial killer. I did bad things, but so yes, anyhow, there is the end of the story. The end of that sutta is actually that at some point Angulimala, bhikkhu, arhat, fully enlightened beings, was walking into a village and waiting for alms food. But actually what happened, someone threw a clod and hit the venerable Angulimala's body. Someone else threw a stick and hit his body. And someone else threw a potsherd and hit his body. Then, with blood running from his cut head, with his bowl broken and with outer robe torn, the venerable Angulimala went to the Blessed One. So he was beaten by the villagers. And the Blessed One saw him coming in the distance and told him, "Bear it, Brahmin, bear it. You are experiencing here and now the results of deeds, because of which you might have been tortured in hell for many years, for many hundreds of years, for many thousands of years." So what does that mean? That means that this is not because you become an arhat that you do not inherit your bad karma, right? You can inherit your karma, that if you are in this life and you've done bad deeds, so there are different timelines. So you might inherit from your bad actions in this very lifetime, or you can inherit in your future lifetimes if you will be reborn. But as he was an arhat, there was no future rebirth, but he got the results of his bad deeds. But because he was an arhat and he has developed, cultivated good deeds before becoming an arhat and becoming a bhikkhu, then it was kind of attenuated, right? So he was just beaten and cut on his forehead. And this is what he got. So no surprise for Angulimala, and no surprise for the Buddha to see him mistreated like this, like a normal consequence of what he did in the past. And then you can read, there are 2 pages of Angulimala exclaiming himself. But I just select 2 of these paragraphs, and they say this is Angulimala speaking, and he says, "There are some that tame with beatings, some with goads, and some with whips. But I was tamed by such a one who has no rod nor any weapon. Harmless is the name I bear. Though I was dangerous in the past, The name I bear today is true. I hurt no living being at all. So if you have time, I encourage you to read his full utterance. And so he said that he was tamed not by the king with his 500 horses, not by an army, not by weapons, but by the Blessed One, the Buddha. And that's very interesting because the Buddha, he didn't reject him, didn't say, yeah, you are a lost case, you're a killer, go away, you've done so many bad things. Just say two words, one sentence, I have stopped, you haven't stopped. And then, oh, what is it saying? And then it has changed totally the life of Angulimala. This is a very inspiring story. I wanted to share it with you today, and I see that it's time, so I will ring the bell. Thank you for your attention. Please bow. All right, feel free to go to unmute or to share or to have questions. I still have a bit of time.